Hell yeah, my friend! It's such an honor. I mean it from the bottom of my heart to have you here live in the studio with all the history and, you know, the impact that Dayglo Abortion had.
But you flatter me.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that a little bit and then I'm gonna go with the hard questions.
Okay, sure.
Like a knife.
I'm game.
There's no hard question. But for people wondering who I'm talking to, who the hell are you, man?
Well, I'm Murray Acton, also known as the Cretin from the Dayglo Abortions. I don't know, we started in 1980. I write 95% of the songs of the Dayglos. I'm the frontman, the singer, the guitar player. I'm not going to say I've got any kind of a frontman thing. I've got no act or anything like that. It's just what you see is what you get, you know. And I don't know. I mean, how do you describe yourself? Everybody tells me I'm great, but actually I think I'm not, you know.
I'm sure you're
think I'm greater than I am. Is all
hero and all those things, but you know, but the thing is, people restrain themselves from creating because they're afraid of being judged, so most of the people don't try, but you did. The first gig you went on, you know, there was no way it's gonna be good, but you didn't care, and you had fun, and you do it again, and now you're still here, and we're live in the studio.
The Dayglos, when we started, everybody hated us. Hated us. Because...
that one person in the goddamn world. Everybody against Dayglo Abortion.
I'm really into satire and sarcasm and stuff like that. Like, one of my biggest influences, like Frank Zappa, actually. And his sarcasm, I'm just not an asshole like Frank Zappa was a bit of an ass today, but
he was cocky.
He was smart. He was just arrogantly smart, you know, kind of thing. But when we started, it was basically a parody of punk rock. And we're going, oh yeah, spitting on old ladies? Oh, we're spitting on the audience. I mean, our first show degraded into a riot pretty well. About the third or fourth song, I said that, you know, this guy was whacking my mic stand into my teeth and stuff like that, and that really annoying me. So that happened a couple of times. I figured, that's it, I'm getting it. Put my guitar down, turned around, and I saw a guy in a Mac shirt I thought was him. I dove off the stage and just drove the guy's face right into the ground. And a bunch of people jumped on my back and started beating on me, and our bass player peeled them all off, and I realized it's the wrong guy. It's the keyboard player of the headline band is who it was, eh? And
but imagine today, you would be canceled.
Oh yeah, no, but you should have seen what they said. They wrote a review of this show. They didn't even mention the headline band. All the guy talked about for a couple of pages was how terrible we were and how everything that was wrong with punk rock we represented and everything like this. Then he finishes it off by, any more publicity given to this Johnny Rotten come lately with his blah 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 art fuck kill lyrics is duly undeserved. And I'm looking going, well, that's kind of got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Blah 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 art fuck kill. So I turned that into a song. And you know, I don't know, I mean, and I was going, oh, thanks for the publicity there, buddy. I mean, you just spent 2 pages getting everybody all fired up to come and see us there. I mean,
you understand real quick that talk good, talk bad, I don't fucking care.
Oh, no, it's all publicity, you know, and then when we got busted in the censorship thing, that changed everything.
Yeah, did it start with the cops? Because what I heard is girl bring a Dayglo Abortion record, a homie freak out, and the guy got friends, and he got all his friends.
She was actually making an illegal bootleg copy of the record, which is ironically enough a felony, you know?
She was in the wrong at first! And but everything started up oh my god.
I think he was like the chief of police in Nepean, this guy, Jim
he was.
And he goes walking by his daughter's bedroom and he heard I Killed Mummy coming out of there. And that was it. He confiscated her whole record collection and he picked out the Dayglos and the Dead Kennedys albums that she had in there and took them down to the mayor's office. And in their infinite wisdom, they decided that they thought that they could make us stop. Which is absurd, you know, they didn't have a chance in hell of that working out.
You didn't know, like, you put gasoline on fire and just blow
I
off.
tried to write them a thank you letter there and stuff like that, but I couldn't get the address. But I thought
But it happened a couple of times with the punk scene, like the second wave, even with
States,
Black Flag and everything.
Yeah, the States,
it gave them more credits and everything.
They had the PMRC thing there, and they went right into Congress. Frank Zappa and Dee Snider got up there, and
Dee did a hell of a great job. They thought he was the clown of the show,
yeah, they weren't
and he
expecting
nailed
that,
it, man. He went
Yeah,
like they all look like stupid asshole trying to poke in something that they really didn't understand and listen.
Between him and Frank Zappa, they just all of those they just had their way with a bunch of really high-end lawyers too, and they were just talking circles around them. That was quite good, but the difference between their stuff and ours was those ones were all, every single one of them was to do with a photograph, usually on the cover or something like that, or in the Dead Kennedys, it was the penis landscape thing there. Right? A little bit racy there, but with ours it was the lyrics, and and I was pretty proud of that. I gotta remember they showed it on. The guy gets on the guy from the university radio station goes, and this is the record, and he shows it up. They had to blank out all of the titles, and I'm going, yeah, look at that. They can't even show the titles on it and stuff like this. And the funniest thing is it actually was a conspiracy to make a disgusting record, because this friend of ours had inherited some money, and he goes, I'll pay for you guys to make a record, but you got to make a record that can't be put in a record store or played on the radio. It's got to lose money. Eh? So I go, you got the right guy. And he goes, sure, I go. So here we go. Okay, so we actually intentionally made it the way it was. Eh? And then after the fact, you kind of, after you start looking at it, the songs, you go, oh, well, this one actually, you start attaching meanings to it that weren't there in the first place. The song was just whatever, some ridiculous song. And then I'd go, like, it's a good example would be, oh yeah, there's a song called Cunt Brain.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit hard for a lot of people to get their head around that with rape, kill, and all of this stuff in it. But it's kind of supposed to be about people's disillusionment with the TV. TV sets an image that you've got supposed to live up to, and they can't live up to the image, so they get all angry and whatever. I mean,
but that's when you release something, it's kind of yours till you release it, and then it's theirs, and they make it their own.
Right, people put their own meaning into things a lot, and
sometimes it's really far from what you have.
For the better. I mean, we ended up with a bunch of white power skinheads were pretty well thought that white Anglo-Saxon Protestants was an anthem for them, man.
Oh shit.
And I'm going, God, these guys, it just goes to show you.
It's kind of the opposite. We hate
you.
The
third verse kind of really stated everything there at the end of it, but they never got that far. Eh? All they heard was the swastikas and all of that stuff. It was, what's his name, Tim Yohannan? Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
He ran Maximum Rock and Roll Radio.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of interviews with him, and he's really uber left-wing guy. Friend of Jello's. Jello doesn't really like the Dayglos that much at all. He thinks we're making fun of the wrong stuff, eh? And whatever. Everybody teaches his own anyway. But sarcasm just going right over his head, I think. Eh? But
he's a serious guy. When
Tim
I met
Yohannan, in the interviews, he was very adamant that you had to censor your stuff to prevent stupid people from misunderstanding it, was essentially what he was saying. I'm going, my argument was no. Like, the art in general, music and everything, is reflects back at society errors, and when society starts to fall apart, the art gets really scary and messy.
It's so true.
And that's hence all of the extreme music that's going on and things. People, it's either their own personal frustration or they're pointing out errors that they see in the world. If you censor that, you're doing a disservice to society in general. You've got that shit has to be there the way it's seen. And I don't know who writes this stuff. I don't know if I write it or whatever. It just comes from up there somewhere. I think music is a living thing. I always refer, I don't surf, but it's like catching a wave. And, for me, that's why I host the radio show. I'm not a musician. But when people are, I've got that songs or rhythm in my head. And I'm like,
Yeah, I think that's life talking.
Strange, eh? Well,
and I don't think life wants you to restrain
there's
yourself
the kind of
because
two
there's
views.
stupidity out there.
Yeah, well, I know.
It's
Two views
everywhere.
of the universe: the material universe and the ethereal universe. Music is one of the. I mean, just writing music is one of the things that makes me think that the ethereal universe is probably, and that there is like a ocean of consciousness or something, and these songs just fall out of it because they seem to come. Like it'll be an idea, it'll be like one phrase, and it'll have a melody with it too. And if I go, it's usually got a melody or a beat or something like this, and if I write that down, I can sit there and it'll just, the next line just sort of comes out of nowhere without, I'm not too sure, I don't think I'm making it up, or at least that's my excuse when I get to some songs like, I wrote a song called I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar lately, and it's, you know, it sort of takes the whole transgendered thing from, you know, from the point of view of like, when it gets to transgendered stuff, whatever floats your boat. I think everybody's got a right to do what they want and everything like that. And I think that's great. Go do it, whatever, dress up, be a freak. It's more variety and everything like that. But the thing about the transgendered sports gets a little weird, eh? And I think if you're going to do something like that and you're going to get real high profile with it, you're going to have to be able to accept that it's funny and people are going to make fun of it sometimes. I mean, so I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar goes on about this guy. He goes, I used to be the smallest guy on my hockey team. Now I'm the toughest girl in the women's league. I score every time I step on the ice. And it goes on
nothing bad.
like this.
It's not like,
it's
you
not,
know.
But check out the last line, eh? And this is, I don't know.
I know the last line.
It goes, the last verse goes, basically, if the truth be known, I hate women. He goes, because they tell me I'm just a man and they won't let me use their dressing room. But I will have my revenge because I'm bigger and faster than them. I will hunt every one of them down and make them wish they were men. And I go, no, Satan, no. Like, big mistake.
Did you sound like the South Park?
Yeah.
Macho
Oh my
Man.
God, oh, that was so
like
good.
they fucking nail it.
That
like,
was so
it's
awesome.
so true.
Yeah, I know,
like,
I know.
when she said, and she
that
said
was
like,
so
oh,
funny.
you don't know with who you're gonna compete.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm like, oh God,
I'm gonna rip your head off and shit it. Oh yeah, it's just like so good.
But if you cut off the joke of everything, it's like, you know, you restrain a society of, you know, because like I think humor is the reflection of what's going wrong, and it's like doing something
But
that
not just that, but it's also a defense mechanism.
yeah.
It's like when you get into things like scary stuff and complicated things that are hard to process, it's a lot easier to process it if you ridicule it and make fun of it. You don't, I mean, not like racist jokes or anything like that. That's sort of a different thing. I like it when the character that's telling the joke is the brunt of the joke, like self-deprecating humor and stuff like that. You don't want to have stuff where you're singling people out and hurting their feelings or something like that. I mean, intentionally, that's just rude, really, when it gets down to it. And that's one of the things that's basically dealing with that. Like, there's some very sensitive sort of, I don't know what you call them, social justice warrior types and stuff like that. And we get them down in the States playing an organ.
I call them clickbait.
Yeah, but you know the thing is basically
They won't click.
we all believe the same
They
damn
won't
things,
click.
though. Eh? All they're doing is think they're doing the best. They're fighting for people's rights, and they're fighting the good fight. And the way I find the best way to deal with them is, instead of starting an argument with them right away, so they have a huge temper tantrum and then they just have a shit fit, you validate their beliefs. I mean, you just go, hey, all of that stuff you guys believe, I believe it too. I mean, I've believed this since I was your age, kind of thing like that. We've been fighting racism and all of that shit for 40 years, And it's we just have a different way of dealing with it. I think the problem is they don't realize who is actually running their movement,
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing.
Every time there's the word movement, that's when I know it went too far.
Well, yeah.
Because now there's somebody that want to be the voice. Now there's somebody that want to be the face.
You see these,
and everybody's like, hey, I'm here and I have a noble cause. And because you lose everything. Right. It's everybody. It's like the scene. It's every band.
Well,
it's all
see what
together.
happened just at the beginning of the COVID thing. Essentially, I don't know. I think it might have started with the Occupy movement there. I think that might have scared the crap out of the sort of these so-called elite globalists or whatever, because that went right around the world.
Yeah,
and even though they didn't accomplish much.
Were you surprised that there was not much punk band that associate their self with
the Occupy movement?
Yeah.
No, they didn't seem to, did they? There was only a couple, maybe Rage
Fat
Against the
Mike
Machine
went-
and stuff
went-
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, and guys like that. But a lot of people seemed to figure it was just a bunch of hippies, you know, and sort of shit like that. And there's a lot of street punks and things.
You're gonna finish with releasing Snapples.
Yeah. But look at the way they dealt with that. They came in there and essentially the same group of people, which is pretty well George Soros and his open thing, they came in and started funding Antifa. They started funding Black Lives Matter. They started funding the other side too.
It's
so
true.
they're funding both sides of the battle there, right?
When you dig, you know that it's like the left and right wing. It's all the Duff Beer and the Simpsons. You remember that episode where it's all the fucking same shit? It's dog piss everywhere.
That's the one thing that
they pee everywhere. So it's all corrupt. It's all. So it's rough to be. You have to be independent and just doing your thing and try to be aware of that, but you have to take a step out because it surrounds yourself at some point and piss you off so much.
People go
more you learn, more you go
crazy.
crazy. You're right.
I got friends of mine that are so wound up about the WEF and everything like this that they're everywhere. Oh my God! And they're going nuts over it, you know. And I go, you got to step back.
But we need those people, man.
Well, but you can't let it overwhelm you. You know, you've got to be careful. Don't forget your brain is programmable, and it's pretty well the information that's coming in the most is what's going to program your mind. So if you spend all of your time worrying about the WEF and this takeover of all of these elites, that's what you're going to get. I mean, eventually it's like people that watch too much porn. You know, they're going to rush home and watch some porn. That's what they get eventually.
After 6
subconscious
hours.
mind, well, no, their subconscious goes, oh, but this guy wants porn. And he doesn't want a relationship. He doesn't want any of that stuff. He wants to go home and watch porn. And you program it in there, and that's why it becomes addictive and everything. And then they'll spend the rest of your life,
computer,
you know, in the dark watching bloody shitty porn or something like this, or worrying about the WEF. Or you see how people get in these traps, or their brain just gets stuck in a loop kind of thing like that, and their subconscious is trying to give them what they think they want.
TikTok, like the algorithm, they all send like an agreement. Like somebody who have the same opinion, and then you build something like that, you know, playground where, oh, I'm right. Everything, you know, I'm swipe up and everything you agree with me. And then like they go like fucking nuts. I told you. And
I mean, you look at it, people are sort of separated, the families are falling apart, they have no peer groups.
It was a shit show.
The only people they know are the people they work with, and they don't like them anyway, you know? And so they're feeling pretty vulnerable, and all of a sudden there's this big group that they can join in on, and they can become part of it, even if they don't believe what the narrative is. They believe it pretty quickly, you know, and they just become part of the group, and they're protected by numbers, and they will, you know, they'll lash out at anybody that goes against their narrative or anything like that.
Throw them under the bus.
Yeah. I think I sort of seem to have gotten lucky. Somehow I carved myself out a little niche where I can more or less say whatever the hell I want, and people just go, oh, it's okay, Murray is just being sarcastic. He doesn't really mean that, for the most part.
You found the perfect attitude.
Yeah. I mean, I get away with
but
shit
you're right.
on Facebook
That's the thing.
That other people don't get.
You know what, Murray? I'm sure there's things we wouldn't agree because, the problem with humans is they don't accept that nobody thinks the same. Nobody, and a lot of people hide those thoughts, and they restrain themselves of saying really what they think. So we never know. It's a game. But the problem is that human is you know, it's all about I'm right. You know, my point is better than yours. So many times in my life, I would agree, like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to do some research and make my mind. And a lot of time I said, man, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
I think it's
That's
actually
it.
awesome to be wrong because when you're
You
wrong,
learn.
you've learned something. And that's
And I want to
important,
learn,
you know?
man. I'm here for that.
And it's not. It's like, do you
So
have anything invested in it? Does it really hurt that much to find out you were wrong about something? I mean, I can't believe that I even made it home 10 years ago.
But you're now a fucking wise guy,
Yeah.
Murray. You made it. All those mistakes over your career, it made, but that's true.
I lead by example.
Yeah.
Don't do what I'm doing. It's like, see this? Woo! Yeah.
We're gonna go with Dayglo Abortions. Of course, we're gonna get back. There's so much to talk about. And I want to know, I'm curious with your background when you were a kid, when you started discovering music. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you that. Let's go back with the first records. But thank you for being here, man. It's so fun.
Hey, my pleasure. I love this stuff.
Let's go with Dayglo Abortion. Vous êtes sur les ondes de CKRL 89.1. On est avec Murray. On parle des vraies affaires à Prescription Punk Rock, man. Hell yeah! Oh yeah! On est toujours avec, bien sûr, Murray de Dayglo Abortion. Vous êtes à CKRL 89.1. À Prescription Punk Rock, Murray, it's so cool. We should record those betweens because it's so fun having you here and talking to you. It's fun to have somebody that is really open-minded and see different angle of the thing. And I think that's the main goal of Dayglo Abortion, is seeing all angle and put it together. And
Yeah, and it's making fun of stuff too. I mean, our motto is insolence versus intolerance since 1980. So how do you deal with it? Fuck you. That's how it's like that song. What is it? That song by the Smut Peddlers.
Yeah, I don't
fuck
remember
you.
the name. Yeah.
Why? That's why. Fuck you. That's why. Or whatever it is. Yeah, that's more or less it.
I want to get back when you were kids. I'm curious, how did you start discovering music, and were there people around you that influenced you, parents, relevant, or friends?
I mean, it started when I was really young. Like, I wanted to play music when I was in a crib still, just about. I could sort of weird old memories. But the first thing that I got into was Peter and the Wolf.
Oh.
You know, the Walt Disney thing there?
Yeah.
You know that spot where the wolf is following Peter through the woods and it gets down to the woodwinds and stuff, goes dum dum. It sounds like Jaws, kind of. I wore that part of that record out, and I didn't even play the rest of it. That's all I listened to, was that little bit. I loved it.
Gives you like
And
goosebumps.
that's what I was looking for, that dark stuff. I found the Peer
John
Gynt.
Williams fucking
When I got into
that
school,
guy
there was
up.
the Peer Gynt Symphony, and that dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Then, when I was about 15, maybe 14, me and the old drummer, the Dayglos, went downtown to shoplift a couple of records.
In Victoria?
The Alice Cooper Killer had just come out.
Oh, wow.
And he wanted me to take Alice Cooper Killer and slide it up the back of his jacket in this record store.
So you can steal it.
And I was just about to do that, and the A's are right next to the B's, and I saw Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. And I heard the Wizard, the first album. I thought, okay, so I put them both. I slipped it up there with the Alice Cooper.
So you went for the whole thing.
Yeah, and I went home.
Did it work?
I went home. Well, yeah, this was crazy. I went home. First, I went to his place, put it on, and goes. And I took the tone arm off right away, and I go, I'm taking this home and listening to it at home. And I went home, smoked a joint, put on the record, and when fucking Sweet Leaf started, it blew I mean, I was just like, oh my God, I've been looking for this for my whole life. It was right there, and yeah, that was it. I knew what I was doing then. I didn't look back from that.
Black Sabbath changed so many lives.
Oh,
I mean, when I asked the question,
Master Reality is one of those pivotal albums.
But every goddamn metal riff was created by Black Sabbath and perfect with other artists.
Sort of. There's some
It
weird
was the
ones.
bass.
There's some weird ones. Like, as far as I can tell, the first song to get heavy that wasn't related to the blues. You see, there's a thing when metal no longer was rock and roll, right? That's really the beginning of it. And it's very possibly I Want You, She's So Heavy.
Yeah.
That song just fucking blew my mind when I was a kid, And this is before Black Sabbath or anything, because it's heavy, and it's not blues, and Jesus, I mean, and that kind of stuff. There was a few things that got me, like My dad had Creedence Clearwater Revival. Willie and the Poor Boys. They're screaming their heads off. They're singing, it's raunchy singing and stuff like that. And that got me going there. There wasn't a lot of that. There was various things. You can see like the John Lennon when he said, woman is the nigger of the world. I thought that was just genius. That was a genius statement, eh? And so that's why I dropped the N-word a couple of times in songs. I think one thing, you want to get people to pay attention. White guys start dropping the N-word around, everybody's paying attention to it, and it makes a good point.
And how much black people have said to you, that was okay?
Oh, I've never been, no black person has ever said they didn't like it. In fact, the only person that said they liked the new Black off of Armageddon Survival Guide was a black dude. He said, oh no, I think this is, well actually no, there was another kid, this obvious white power skinhead guy was going on about the Jews and all of this shit in the comments. But this black dude from down in the States, that I'd met him a couple of times, he was all over it. He thought, yeah, you nailed it. Obama is a corporate shill and nobody can see it. It's like, we've been duped big time. Eh? And it was, it was kind of obvious because look at it, they put Obama in, all of a sudden the black savior comes along, but they left Rumsfeld and Cheney and all of them, they never changed the guys that were actually doing the shit. Obama was just out front, and him and Metal Mike, or whatever his husband's name is, what's that guy? Yeah, Big Mike, I think they call him.
I think so.
I just love that one. I don't even know if it's true, I just think it's funny. Big Mike.
That's crazy, because the 80s, you were barking about those, those politicians, actors, everything,
Yeah.
And now we have the worst wave of politician of the history.
Never thought it would get this bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Like after Nixon, after you got Trudeau, you got Trump.
Now you got these organ harvesting monsters and stuff like. Jesus. And it's hard to say. Maybe they're not eating babies or something like that.
No,
it turns out there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that kind of makes it look like there is. There's something going on, definitely. And that whole thing with Epstein and all of that stuff, and there's so much weird, creepy shit. The Clintons, holy fuck, and they're just unbelievably crooked. I don't know how many people they've had bumped off 100
when you
or
write songs and you do you go into the history? Do you dig? When did you draw the line where you stop digging yourself? Because when you we talk about that, between the takes. When you feed yourself too much, you go fucking nuts. But
yeah, I tend to get things like it'll be something that pisses me off. Usually, it'll be one type of thing or another. All through the Reagan things. That's where we got started there. There was a bunch of things. There was Margaret Thatcher. It was quite the warmonger there too, eh? And Reagan, he was an actor and stuff like this, but he was doing things like he brought in we got rid of all of the the rules about monopolies. He streamlined
for the industry, private
so they
industry.
could centralize all the power and everything like that.
That was not.
And I was listening to people, the opinions of people like Jello Biafra and stuff like that. He was a pretty big, even though he got a little bit out in left field there sometimes, he was really on top of this stuff, and I was influenced by other people in the punk rock world and stuff like that. Tim Yohannan had a big influence on me because I almost had to concede that he was right about that self-censoring thing when we played in Greensboro, North Carolina, to a room full of white power skinheads. And they were all white power skinheads, and they were scary. Hey, I just wanted to let's get paid and get the hell out of here.
And I told you, the eyes don't lie. You saw the anger.
Okay.
Mike
Jack. Yeah, Mike Jack is a native Indian. And Mike, they thought Mike was just the raddest guy. They didn't notice the fact that he was obviously a native Indian. They're not super bright. These people, Anyways, they gave him an indoctrination.
That's when we got lucky. They
This is
were
the
not
most fucked up
right.
thing. They had this. It was the skinhead indoctrination kit. It had a little form that you could send away to the John Birch Society.
Yeah.
To get your jack boots and your pair of white suspenders or some shit like this. And they had a bunch of things in there. They had to pick 3 Polaroid pictures of black dudes planting crosses with a bunch of people with bedspread shit, with
You're
white
shitting
pointy
me.
heads. No. And I go to Mike, I go, you know what that is? That is evidence of murder.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't think those guys are going home for dinner.
Let's go
or
straight
anything
to the
like that.
fake.
It was really
It is.
fucked up. But the worst thing in there was the KKK joke book. And that hit me pretty hard. I look at it, the KKK joke book. Open up the first page, and it's got how to use the KKK joke book in your football locker room, around your school, with your friends, to normalize racism. To just, and it's all about making it just, and it's the way that, all of these things
But
work.
that's
They just
crazy
wanna
that
normalize
because
things.
it's kind of the surreal world where we you have no clue.
Right.
But when you get it, it's just like the stupidity of it is just insane.
It's stupidity is not really what you could call it.
It's worse than that.
Calculated
You're right.
and vicious. And
Yeah, but if you have to say rule number 1, rule number 2, the guy is not that smart.
Right.
He's
Well,
gonna,
you see, the way they usually run is they'll have one guy that's like a probably above average intelligence sociopathic fucking fiend.
Yeah.
And he gets a bunch of acolytes that are
following.
way down there in the IQ and stuff like that. And he only gives them little bits of information. He doesn't tell them the whole story because it doesn't hold any water.
Yeah.
Right? So they just get little bits of this and that. That's what I say. You want to get rid of that kind of thing? Give them a microphone. I mean,
They did it with
because
me and it
their
worked.
shit doesn't hold water. Nobody, people are going, this is nuts.
You're right. It's
You
sad,
can't
but
censor
you're
them.
right.
They need to be they thrive in censorship, and they also want their opponents to come out on the battlefield and meet them. They've got to have that confrontation. They've got to have somebody come out and deny them their rights, deny them their right to speak their mind and stuff. So really, you don't want to fight them. You just want to give them a fucking microphone and go, hey, there you go. Let's get up on the soapbox and let's tell the whole world about it. Because a lot of people are going to be so offended by what you're saying that they're probably going to attack you, and stuff. That's just the way it works. If you start being fucking shitting all over people.
And when you got censorship over your head, you saw the whole industry and the whole clown thing that goes with it.
Right.
How much you step your mind into a fight, or you take it as, let's see where it's gonna go,
Okay,
and
that one was, you see, on that one.
because they tried to ruin your life.
Oh
at
yeah,
some
but
point.
the media was behind us 100%. It was the only people that were trying to ruin our life was the idiots from Mayor of Nepean and stuff like that, and not super bright guy, I'm thinking, or at least he didn't think the possible outcomes that were going to happen. I mean, they made us. I was going to say, look, I know this didn't turn out the way you wanted, but I got to thank you for this because everybody used to hate us, and now we're huge. Thank you. But.
Who's the Dayglo Abortion who's
even-
fighting the system?
Even fucking Lloyd Robertson and everything like that.
Yeah.
When I did the interview with Lloyd Robertson, he goes, okay, we've got 5 questions. And he shows me the questions. If there's any of them you don't want to answer, just let me know and we'll cross it off. He goes, try not to swear, but I've got a crew of guys that are editing in real time, the best in the country. And he's going, and they're going to take what you say. If you stutter or stammer or pause for too long, they're going to cut it right out and make everything you
They see
say.
your face. They know by your face that you're gonna swear, and they cut you up.
This is
before.
my daughter here on the phone.
Oh,
Hi, sweetheart.
it's radio.
What's that? Oh, gabapentin. Yeah, I know what gabapentin is.
Didn't mention we're live.
You don't
That's
have
funny.
seizures. No, why would they do that? You
She
don't have
don't
nerve
know
pain.
she's lying.
That's insane. See, my daughter's in the hospital right now, and it's complicated, actually.
Oh shit!
No, well, how do you tell them to go fuck themselves? Yeah, no, don't take it. Don't. They're always trying to push drugs on you, and they're fucking wrong.
He's right.
I mean, No, you don't. You've never had a seizure. Well, that's insane. What does the doctor think he's doing? These people are fucking idiots. Jesus. Sorry, I mean, that's
No, that's good. It's good advice, man.
Yeah.
We have the worst opioid crisis of ever.
You're on the radio in Montreal right now.
Yeah, she didn't know that.
Quebec City,
You want to say hi to Montreal? Say hi to Montreal.
Quebec City, man.
Or Quebec,
Fuck
sorry.
Montreal.
Don't worry, the Nordics are gone.
Okay, maybe it is Quebec City then, I guess. Anyway, I should go and go that series now, okay, sweetheart?
That's amazing. You took the call. He's right. Like with the opioid crisis, I would I would consider taking pills now. That was amazing. It was live. Yeah, but you did great advice with the opioid crisis right now. I don't trust that much when it comes to pills because, many times in my life I said, I'm going to try to handle it by myself, and it worked. Body is very well done.
She's mental health issues. She's got swept up by the system, and you see, the thing is they're full of shit. They don't know what they're fucking doing, and they're lying about everything. They're just drug pushers.
Yeah.
The fucking mental health issues are not caused by a chemical imbalance.
No.
That's a lie.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
the psychiatrists know that it's a lie. And instead of dealing with the issues, they just bury them with fucking tranquilizers, which is insane.
Sometimes it came from a trauma, somewhere in your life that you try to block something, and it creates all those things. And all you need to do is go back there,
you've got to go in
deal
and
with
face
it, and know yourself. You're not a bad person. You did whatever you took, and sports and eating well.
It's usually a series of things.
It works.
Environmental, could be toxins, could be even be genetic. But it's not fucking
native. You talk about native people. How they survive all those trauma.
Oh yeah.
Because they were healthy and they were not taking pills.
Right, exactly. I mean, this is like they're trying to give her gabapentin.
Oh.
To stop
It's
seizures.
bad.
She's never had a seizure.
No, that's not.
I mean, she has no nerve pain or anything. Like, and fucking gabapentin actually kind of.
It's amazing because it's with everything we talk about, it's for the society. There's an agenda.
I'm a thorn in the side of these people in the psychiatric thing. I just go in there and just shit.
We need you, Murray.
They're fucking liars, and I don't tolerate it for a second. I mean, they've destroyed my kid's life. She used to be when she was 15, she was a prodigy musician. She was the first song she was playing grade 4 in piano. From the piano instructor, and then she wanted to take up guitar. First song she learned was Into the Void, for Christ's sake.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and she had it. I was going, look, come on, that's got a hammer on.
Yeah, it's really tough songs. And on the piano.
She learned it. She learned it right away on guitar. And just had it down, the little pull-offs and everything.
She got the ears.
Then the second one was I Want You, She's So Heavy, which is actually really pretty fucking hard to play. It's got a couple of things in there that's quite tricky.
You have to crush your finger.
Then, it happened when I split up with her mom there, got a little messy. And Paris was on my side. Well, I mean, the kids, I've been really tight with my kids. Mom was the authority figure, and Dad was kind of the guy with no boundaries.
For people that don't know how much kid you have.
I got 3. I've got a son who is my son from a first marriage. He's about almost 40 now. And,
wow, he's my age.
Yeah,
I could be your son, Murray.
Yeah, and then he's got 2 kids. I got a couple of grandkids too. And,
wow.
They're teenagers now too, and then my daughters. I've got a 34-year-old daughter and a 31-year-old daughter from the second marriage, and they're quite something. One of them is just quit fentanyl, which is making me a very happy dad. I believe.
Yeah.
I'm relieved on that.
Worst shit ever.
Yeah, and she's really fucking talented kid too. I just want to see her realize some of the things she wants to do there and stuff. But we had a couple of years of. I've spent a lot of money on fentanyl in the last couple of years, and I don't do the shit myself. So, but then the other ones had this ongoing. She got picked up at 15 because she got in a conflict with her mom. Her mom called the police. The police came and took her and put her in a fucking hospital for criminally insane children or whatever like that. And she ended up. They put her in solitary confinement for 3 months
Oh my
and cycled her on antipsychotics, and none of them were. She was not psychotic. All she needed was a good
we
meal.
heard more and more of those stories.
Oh yeah. I mean, then nowadays, if you skip out of school, you're on something. You know, you got you on Seroquel or something like this, and you look at what are the side effects of Seroquel? Oh, suicide is the #1 side effect of it. You know, and massive depression, Ativans, things like that, like the benzodiazepam and all of that stuff. They are fucking brutal, and they just give the shit away like candy. People are giving her this stuff. They were giving her 5 Ativans a day, and it was being given to her by people who weren't even doctors, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
They're social workers.
Did you saw like the series
drugs
with like they talk about that, the crisis right now, and I was like, oh, I'm surprised Netflix chose that path, because I felt that they were part of the whole deal, you know.
Oh yeah.
But
it's
it's starting slowly. Of course, it's way too late. It's 5 years late of
Well, yeah.
what we saw. Like you saw, I'm sure. Like in Vancouver, always been like a city
It's
of
always
drugs.
been pretty rough. That's the
But,
original
like,
Skid
I'm sure
Road,
it's
you know,
worse. Like
Hastings Street.
Ottawa, when we went there 2 years ago, it's
1,000
crazy.
bloody
All
Hastings
those
Street,
zombies,
eh?
man, everywhere.
It's
I
weird,
went to
though.
Moncton in New Brunswick, and it's starting to happen.
Oh yeah, really. Eh? We're going to be there in a couple of days. At least it's not like Moncton used to be just all white power skinheads.
No.
Yeah, no, it changed a lot. It changed a lot.
Yeah. We played one show there, and
Well, they got Guns N' Roses
the guy
last
that
year.
ran the
so-
bar looked like Samuel L. Jackson, big, huge black dude. And the bar was right there, and the audience is there, and we were just arguing with them all the time. Come on, you guys are fucking idiots. Their girlfriends were trying to get them to pick fights with us, and then I'm carrying on a conversation with the bartender, and I'm going, so what do you think about all this? These guys come in your bar, and he looks and goes, paying customers.
Oh, shit.
I mean, but this one guy thought, two guys thought I was the Prime Minister. And I'm going,
You should.
no, I'm not the Prime Minister.
You should.
I don't speak French, and I don't talk out of the side of my mouth like this, you know. And, but they still didn't believe it. I'm going, you don't really believe this, do you? Oh, yeah. And I'm like, holy fuck. Well,
Did Dayglo Abortion went like to Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island?
that's where we finished this trip, is ending
Oh
in
yeah.
Charlottetown.
Is it the first time that you go there?
Well, we've tried to play there a couple of times, but once they passed a law, like a municipal law, that if you had a gathering of more than 10 people that weren't related to each other, you had to get a permit.
You fucking kidding
So
me?
the guy goes and tries, okay, I want to get a permit to do a show. And he goes, not that show, you're not. And they did that to stop our show from happening, which was kind of, I don't know.
What happened
Take
in
it as a
Charlottetown?
compliment, I
Like,
guess, you know?
because like DOA is playing there too.
Yeah.
They kind of opened
Things have
like
changed a bit. Well,
the bridge like for a band.
like our bass player Matt booked the shows, and he phoned up these guys, this band called Baited from Charlottetown.
Yeah.
Young guys. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, they're
man.
good.
That's their first trip outside of Charlottetown. Their first show was in Toronto when we started the tour, and we're taking them from Toronto all the way back to their hometown.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Just watching
It's a
these
fucking
guys
long
go.
ride.
They are so
From
good.
here,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah,
an
that's
hour.
Well, you know what they did after the Montreal show? They rushed home to PEI to see their family because they got 2 days off, I guess, 2 or 3 days off. We're going to meet them in Bathurst, I guess.
That's amazing, yeah.
But
We're
it's
going
great
there
watching
Bathurst this summer. It's our first step.
I love watching these kids. I mean, I remember being the backup band with these things and just getting in the pit every night, drinking and partying and everything like this. I'm just looking at these guys going, fuck
Oh, I miss that.
enjoy this. It's fun.
yeah. He's
And
gonna
they're
get
nice
you
guys.
up
They're
later.
nice kids and just a wicked good
But that's
band.
crazy because like I always felt that New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Edward Prince Island, they were all left up because bands stop in Quebec and then
Right.
get back.
They
so it's
don't
so
get
cool that they
much
have a
there,
scene because
they
they're
do have a bit of a scene. Not much by apparently.
Small.
Not much.
But they're excited. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh God, this band is so good. They don't sound anything like an East Coast band at all. It's not like in Newfoundland. All of the bands, you can tell that they're from Newfoundland. Kind of like some of the French bands have got their own.
When you go deep, you understand. I always thought that the St. Catharines from Montreal has a special song. So when I went to St. John's, I learned that Eric Trips, they fucking stole that band, because when I heard Eric Trips, it's fucking Yesterday Rings and fucking St. Catharines on fucking cocaine. And you're just like, oh fuck, okay, everything is a wheel. Everybody's ripping up everybody.
They got something going on in Newfoundland there. I mean,
it's
like they don't watch TV after dinner. They whip out the fiddles and the instruments and they all start jamming and shit.
It's fucking wood.
It really.
Like, there's no big city. It's just like, and you have to do 3 hours.
Damn nice. Eh?
They're smiling. They're happy.
I was walking around there when I had an orange mohawk and stuff in it. I'd walk by the patio of one bar and they go, boy, that's quite the haircut you got there, boy. You're not from around here, are you, boy? You come and have a drink with me there, boy. And you're trying to go, okay, I'll have a drink with these guys. You try and walk down and in the next patio, the same damn thing, and they're just, it's like, got back home, people see, nice haircut. Asshole.
Yeah, now you're back home.
Like a bunch of jocks or something. Like
again.
Back in the day when there was a
Here
kid
we go.
Getting chased around by rugby players and stuff like this. It was funny back when punk rock, when the punkers and the Native Indians and the gay community were at the bottom of the social ladder. And the gay community had a lot of money in some bars, and they would let the punkers play in their bars because none of the other bars would let the punkers play in them.
It's funny, I heard that.
Initially, that was and ended up being friends with them. I mean, we sort of, it was a win-win situation. We had a place to play. The gay bars got a bunch of young men to get half naked and jostle around in a pit. They found that very entertaining, and it was kind of funny. I mean, some of the bars were a little scary. There was one in Vancouver called In Through the Outdoor, which I thought the name even was a little odd there, In Through the Outdoor. But they had down in the men's washroom downstairs was a dungeon. And you go down there and you don't want to go down there alone.
Where's the bathroom? Go there.
Buttless chaps on, whipping somebody in the stall or something like this. Eh? You're like standing out there just
I'm just here to be.
But they were pretty good, they were good.
You look all great guys, but I'm just here to be. Nothing is happening.
It was pretty damn funny.
But Vancouver was wild, but open mind, and I think that and of course, every city that it's all about boats, it's drugs and everything. So it creates something culturally that, it's unique to Canada. Like Toronto, a lot of people say, Toronto has a scene. There was a scene, it's building again, but it was not like Vancouver where it was...
it's gone through various phases. Same as Victoria, too. Victoria in the late 70s, early 80s just was an amazing good band. Tons of bands. They were all the rich kids for the most part, because they got music lessons, their parents bought them instruments. We were the guy on the odd ones out, we were from the other side of the tracks. Our bass player had actually been to jail. And that's why we got into it.
You freaked the rich kids.
Before we were into music, we were juvenile delinquents. And we did things like stole cars, broke into drugstores. That was our big kick, was breaking into drugstores. And Trevor, the old Spud, the bass player, got caught. We had about, those big coffee percolators? Filled to the top with Quaaludes. Tons of
Quaaludes.
Yeah, and...
You saw, Wolves of Wall Street, they buy some and they say, they're back from the days and everything. It was kind of rare after, a period.
The Quaaludes sort of disappeared there, but... we went to sell them I had been kicked out of the public school system and I was in this private school. So they had their spring dance and Spud was out in the bushes because he couldn't go in there. So I'd go and get some money from the people in the dance and then go and buy the pills and take it back and give them to everybody. And I was selling lots of them there at this dance and people were drinking too, a bad combination. So about the third or fourth time coming back, I realized, I look and I'm going, and there's a lot of people that are really loaded, They're falling around. Even the band, the guy in the band, one of the guys in the band, like falls off the stage or something. I'm going, yeesh, I'm looking around. Then this one guy goes, that's the guy that killed the baby. He's got the teacher. So I got caught there and got the boot from school. But Spud got busted in his hotel room with all of the Quaaludes, and he got 2 years less a day for it. Right on his 17th birthday is when he went to court. So he went to jail for 2 years at 17 years old.
But at Vancouver, he was not 21. He was not taking as juvenile.
No,
they take him like his fucking
17,
adult.
17
Yeah,
is the
they judge him as a
age.
fucking adult.
Yeah,
so he
yeah,
got
yeah.
like, oh shit, like 18 in prison must suck so fucking lot.
Big time. Oh yeah, well Spud was fortunate that he was pretty tough. And by the time he got out of jail, he was really fucking tough. Really
He was
tough.
badass with him. Like, you don't
But that was
fuck with him.
when that happened, we decided, maybe we should come up with another hobby. I don't want to go to jail.
But you did survive.
Oh, you
that
did
was the
survive,
thing.
yeah,
Back in the days, you have to survive. It's not
Yeah.
like today. There was not much opportunity. You have to seize and build something. And you learn. You learn through that experience that maybe getting in jail will not release a record for a while if everybody got caught.
And when Spud got out, we started playing. I did have a band before that all happened. I had this band called Airborne. We had a couple of original songs.
Yeah, again, man.
We were
Everybody
like
is
kind of
ripping
a
off
froggy
everybody.
band.
Now,
That was it.
look what Airborne did. They fucking rip you off, Australia.
Oh yeah, well that doesn't matter. That was a long time ago. And
Yeah.
Airborne
You
never
didn't
went
play
anywhere,
CDC.
so
That's
it
the
doesn't
point,
matter.
and it was way better.
Yeah. I mean, I got lots of names that are fucking. Dayglo Abortion's nobody's stealing that one. That's for sure.
I don't know why.
Well, the good thing, the best thing about it is I don't want to be part of the music industry, the straight corporate music industry. It's just a bunch of sharks and vampires and everything like that. And it's all revolves around corporate endorsements and everything like that. You can't sell condoms with abortion in the name. You can't fucking sell nothing. And it's that issue that goes
Walmart.
right down the middle, 50-50. If people, so they won't touch us. They actually got bets on for a while there. Bonehead used to play a golf tournament, and he played with the head of the CEO of Sony Canada was his partner. And the CEO of Sony Canada said, we've got this running bet kind of amongst me and my peers here to see how far you guys can go, because you're independent and you've got international distribution, and we can't figure out how you pulled that off. And because that's not supposed to happen, really. But we had friends at Disc Amerique there. The guys came from Victoria, and they just slide our shit in with everything else. And
They don't get it. They don't release good movie. Why? They don't get it.
Yeah, well,
they don't get it.
They'd hire us. They'd get their bands, these shitty fucking bands engineered by the industry that couldn't put 5 people in a bar. They'd get them to go on a tour with us, which was kind of, our audience did not like them very much usually. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys are coming.
That's another thing, a lot of people that was in the industry was huge fan of Dayglo Abortion. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I heard so many things.
There is some, yeah.
But like Gordon from the Tragic Clip, I think you crossed path and he was into a Dayglo. He loved the band.
I've never met him or anything like that. But there was a bunch. I mean, there's one of the guys from Dr. No. One of the original guitar player of Dr. No, I guess he was. Like, that's the crew with Ishmael and stuff, the Mexicans from Oxnard there.
Yeah, they did like the Oxnard scene.
Right. He got started working in Hollywood. He was doing publishing rights and things like this, and now he's like the head music director for fucking Netflix or something like that.
Yeah.
He's huge now. And
I did an interview with Stalag 13. They were like friends, like Dr. No, like create all the band in a way.
Yeah, that's right.
And he told me that. You're right.
I really like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But he's still humble, and he knows where he came from and his roots.
Classy dude, man. He really is just a great guy. And I don't know, apparently
that's another thing from the street punk of Quebec. They don't know the Knoxford scene, and I'm like, the Knoxford scene. Like, I mean, it's just like
there's so much good stuff around there.
Yeah.
Look at like the what's his name from the Adolescents there had what was that band called that did Ramones songs and spoof shit there.
Oh shit, I'm good.
They're really good too and super funny. But there was all songs. you know, they take the Ramones song and turn it around.
Yeah.
What were they called?
There's the Ramones.
No,
the
no,
girls
no,
that
they
pick
were-
the Ramones songs, but they're all.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff around. I mean, but yeah, no, a lot of those guys down there. I mean, Brandon Cruz kind of got in there. We're playing in Edmonton on July the 1st for the Jacks team reunion. It's a big skateboard.
Yeah, I know them.
Skateboard team there, and Dr. Noah's apparently playing at it. But then I find out that it's Brandon Cruz and a couple of guys from Victoria and Vancouver. You're like, so it's not Dr. No, it's Dr. Who.
There's got Vortex. They fucking change like people. We're the other dimension.
Yeah, no, the Mexicans aren't going to be there, which is a shame because, well, whatever. I mean, that's a Jackson.
Murray, times flies.
It does.
We're already at the end, but I told you there's going to be a
Right,
part
right.
2, of course.
Sure,
but
sure.
how's going to be the rest of the years for Dayglo Abortions? And of course, you see me coming. When there's going to be another release?
Well, we've got a bunch of songs sitting there. I did a 4-song thing there, Upside Down World, and just went on Bandcamp. And I've got about 10 or 12 more songs to go with that. And we've been sort of toying with the idea of doing a split with the guys in Baited, just because they're a young band that I want to see them get out there, eh? And that'd be good for them, you know, and it'd be kind of fun. They're very different from us, eh? So it'd be kind of interesting. I think it'd be fun. But the guys at Unrest, I was talking to them, and they're more or less they want to get a couple of things. Some money things settled there because they've got they just repressed a couple of the titles, and they want to get rid of Corporate Horrors and Little Man in the Canoe. They've still got backlog of that.
Oh,
yeah, so they want to
that
get
would
rid
be
of that
great.
stuff. And once that stuff's all
I know
gone,
people have a hard time finding them.
yeah, they'll do another. Well, you can find them. We've got a bunch of them because they gave them. We've got some more vinyl and stuff on them and CDs. And a lot of it was Corporate Horrors and stuff like that because they're kind of getting us to get rid of the shit for them. Eh? And they're a little harder to sell than fetuses and stuff like that. But Fetus still sells just as good as it did when it was brand new, that's kind of a good thing there. And Unrest does a nice job. They go to this pressing plant in the Czech Republic, which is possibly the best pressing plant on earth. Nice fat vinyl, and they've got posters. They've got really well done. They've done a good job of all of that stuff.
Sony didn't buff them?
No. They're friends of ours, eh? And
That's so
we have
cool.
no contract with them or anything like that. The deal is they give me 20% off the top. Not a record company on the planet's going to give you that much for
and
starters.
they don't rake you up. They do.
Yeah,
So
and we don't. And once that's done, we can buy records off of them for cheaper than we can get them made.
Oh wow.
So we can't lose in this thing, eh?
Do you felt that there's more people that do it for the right reason in the business side than
There is some. I mean, there's like, what's his name, Al Nolan there out of Toronto. He's got a bunch of young bands that he's getting out. And there's people like that right across the country, you know, and down in the States.
It's tough. You put your kids in the end of somebody, and man, like they rip you off. Like,
the record companies are savage.
Now, like they're so
not
afraid of
nothing.
getting like
what your royalties like? You don't get royalties.
Yeah.
Okay, what you get is the writer of the song gets mechanicals, which is about 1.5 cents a song. Or
Proud to
something
be
like that.
Canadian should like make you rich. It should be the anthem of all Canadians.
Jesus,
what the fuck?
This guy sent me a video of the World Juniors about 5 years ago, and at one of the face-offs they played "Proud to be Canadian" at the face-off. I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, they cut it out before the lyrics started. It's just a
Nice surprise.
I mean, the Hanson brothers and stuff like that, they're all over that stuff, eh? But even then, you know, these corporate companies, they've got their own ideas on shit, you know?
Their own agenda.
And, you know, it's all about Gary Glitter or something like that. Well, maybe not so much anymore.
We know the story.
That was a
Really
good
ugly.
song, Rock and Roll, there, part one.
Murray, we really have to do a part 2. People go,
For sure.
if people want to grab merch, of course the best way is catch you live. You're
Right.
fucking everywhere. You're not stop touring. But if people want to buy merch, is there any way?
Yeah, sort of. If you can get a hold of the guys at Unrest, which apparently they're difficult to get a hold of. There is a couple of people selling merch. There's a guy out of Edmonton, which is sort of technically bootlegging our merch, called Inner City, I think he's called, something like that. And we're going to set up one of these sites where you get you just give them a bunch of art and people can go and order shirts. They print them. They take their cut out and put it in their bank account. They put your They ship it to them and everything because I don't want to deal with all of that.
Yeah, a lot of bands choose that path.
I mean, we make all our own merch and everything like that. Matt, the bass player, does all the printing and we're pretty well self-sufficient in everything these days. We have no management, we have no driver's license, we have no nothing going on, you know, and it's kind of funny actually. It's like, I tell people, you know, what is it? Safety is my middle name. My middle name is Murray. No job, no helmet, no lights, no safety. Yeah,
Murray, you're fucking the big finger to society, and you prove that you can live. You have to have a little step inside because everything, but like most of your body is fucking outside, and it is.
Several years ago, I was shooting my mouth off to the local paper there, and they said, so do you work these days? I go, no, I don't have to work. I got a good deal on a house. I bought a house for $150,000.
Oh shit!
Walking distance from downtown Victoria.
Today, like.
And it was eventually I was almost paid off. Praised at $650,000, but the city hates me with a passion. Okay? And they saw me in the paper going on about how I don't really have to work. I rent out a couple of rooms. My mortgage is cheap. I got a very cheap mortgage, and it's almost done. And I'm going on the road in 2 weeks. So I went on the road in 2 weeks, and the day after I left, they showed up with a bunch of building inspectors and condemned my house.
You kidding me?
They condemned my house and made me sell it with a condemning order on it.
Because you were who you were.
Because they hated me, They claimed that I was responsible for all of the crime on Vancouver Island. I don't even have a fucking criminal record.
It pisses me off. Murray, you know what? We love you here. We know they're wrong. And they know they're wrong, but anyway, they play.
Oh, it was.
There's a huge plan, but man, you're going against it. We need you.
Oh yeah,
you are part of the history of punk rock of
this
Canada.
Is the retirement plan now. That was my retirement plan. The house it was worth $1.5 million by the time I sell it. I'm set. No, they fucking got rid of that. Got it. I sold it, and I ended up with a guitar. That's what I got from the money that was left over. Nice guitar. Of course, it was an expensive one. Gibson custom shop thing, you know, but that's all I got on it.
Thank you for losing money for the last 24 plus years.
You know, if we worked all the time, we'd be pretty wealthy, actually. We don't do too bad, but that's not really feasible to work all of the time, you know, so my kids are grown up. I don't need a lot of money, you know. I've been homeless since they took my house away. I've been essentially
citizen of Canada.
I got cancer last year and ended up living in a spare room in my parents' place, which is not good for them or me. My poor old man, I'm killing him. It's just actually the way he explained it was, he goes, the passenger planes, he said, they've got like a tank that they put their shit in, and he goes, and when it fills up, sometimes they have to eject that tank. And he goes, and it's frozen, so this big wad of frozen shit comes down, and sometimes it hits a house. He goes, and it comes right crashing through the house and splat right in the middle of the fucking kitchen table. That's what it's like having you here, he said. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It was your idea, though. I mean, but
bless them.
Well, my parents are awesome. My parents are really good people, you know, and me and my old man don't get along or anything that well, but I'm quite proud of him. He's super honest. Both of my parents are really, really honest and very non-judgmental. Well, my dad's a little judgmental. My mom, I've never heard her talk down to another person. I mean, she is like a good Christian. That's the only way to describe it. She really practices it, does everything she possibly can. She goes to a church that's the all-inclusive church, gay. They've got a lesbian minister who doesn't even believe in God, which is quite interesting. But she still works as a minister, which is quite funny.
Weird.
Oh yeah. Well, they can get their head around this stuff somehow. She it's a moral framework that they're teaching. And she'd lost her faith somewhere, but she decided she could still keep working as a priest. And they cleared it with the United Church, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I went in there and was helping them paint the church. I did a bit of volunteer work for them. And I go to the lady, I go, you know, these baseboards, there's a lot of cracks down here. We should get some caulk and fill it in, eh? And he goes, you going to get some? She goes, oh yeah, I got some. She goes, oh. And she comes back with a little tube of the silicone caulk.
Yeah.
No, like this, you know, like that stuff, eh? Like this. And she looks at me and goes, oh, kind of laughed and stuff. But I thought that was good. That's caulk with an L, you know.
You're
caulk,
fucking
man.
gold. Merci tout le monde. Thank you so much, Murray.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
Fucking Dayglo Abortions.
I like to
Man,
talk
we have to do a fucking part 2.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know,
We
anytime.
keep each other in touch.
I could do it over the phone too, even as well too. But I think I'll be back in September. Apparently, we're playing for.
It deserves a hell yeah, everybody! 1, 2, 3, hell yeah! Bonne semaine, à la semaine prochaine.
Guys.